This is the coffee table which I just built. This is part 2 of the video, but it's a long one. There will be a more edited version, a bit shorter, a bit less talking from me, which you might want to watch instead. But stick around for this one if you want to see the full process. Let's get into the video. And as you can see, I covered the entire thing with resin. That was just to fill in any of the little bits of tear up and everything, just so I could get the best finish possible, basically. But yeah, let's get to sanding. I'm going to be wearing a different mask to normal. Wearing this one, got proper filters on, because I don't want to be taking in any of this stuff. So let's get to it. Right, I've done a bit more sanding, but you have to wait for it to cool down because you don't want this to get hot, otherwise it will start moving again and it will really clog up your sander. So look at that. Yeah, that's why you have to wear a good mask. You don't want that in your lungs. So yeah, I'll just keep sanding, letting it cool, sanding, letting it cool until it's flat, and then I'll do the underside, which won't take a lot because I didn't actually resin the underside, so it'll just be the little drip marks and stuff, and then I'll do the edges, which I did resin, but they won't take too long. I'll probably use a hand sander for that, in fact, because I can chuck a pretty good piece of sandpaper on, but I don't have the good sandpaper for my orbital. I need to get some of that. But yeah, it should be good. Hoping it turns out well. If not, I've wasted like a very good piece of wood and a week worth of drying the resin. So let's get back to it. So what I'm doing here is I'm just marking out where I'm going to put this base plate. So I've got my depth gauge, 6mm at 60 centimeters. Oh, brother, 60mm, 6 centimeters. That's the one. And then I'm just going to put this roughly on the center line, so I know how far to go. And I'm just drawing my line in there. There we go, I'm happy with that. And then I'll do the other side. And then I just need to mark my distances apart, making sure that it's in the center. So yeah, I'll be back once I've done that. Okay, so now I've got my points marked. I'm just going to put a tiny little hole in like that. And that'll mean that when I tape up, I know where to drill still, because I'll be able to poke a little hole in the tape and be able to see where I'm going. So I'm just doing that on both sides. And it also allows me to check, double sure that where I'm drilling is where I want to be drilling. Because once you put in your big hole, there's no going back really. You're kind of stuck with the positioning. That here, I can see that they're both in the centre. I mean, it's lined up nicely along this edge here. So that's where I want to drill. And I'll take you to the other one. In the top right, you should be able to see my little holes. And I'll just place this over and check. Yeah, that looks good. So now I'm ready to tape to stop some tear out and then drill the big hole, the one which you can't come back from. We'll see what that looks like. It's not looking promising. It looks like there's a bit of tear out there. But let's do the rest. I'll show you one more. Yeah, that's in shot. Make sure it's all square. Boom. That looks a bit better. Okay, let's do the reveal. See how much work I've got to do. Yes! Get in. The tape trick works. How about this one? This one I think is going to be worse. Ready? Ah! Okay, it's not too bad. I'm not going to touch it because I can finish that with a chisel quite easily. I've just had the fort of the century. Or maybe the worst fort of the century, depending on how it goes. What I'm going to do, see this, if it focuses, this gives you a nice beveled inside, okay? When you see this, this has a nice beveled outside. Oh my word, this camera needs to focus. Okay, well, it's not focusing, but you get the point. Both have beveled. So if I run this in the holes, it should bevel them and clean up the edges. Let's give it a crack. Maybe, maybe not. I think it may have just created more work, but it's a bit late now. Let's do it on all of them. Okay, I've cleaned them up. They're looking all right. So now I'm going to do my glue tech. So what I've got is a really thin piece of wood, which I've now dipped in the glue. And I'm just going to rub it on the threads. I'll cut this out because it takes a while. But then I'll come back and I'll tighten them in. Okay, so now I have the right Allen key. And I'm ready to put these in. Oh my word, okay. Let's get on with it. So there, look, it's bitten. You have to make sure that you adjust these whilst they're still not too tight. Make sure you got them as square as you want it to be. Because there is actually a bit of play in how square they are. So yeah, and just clamp it down. Jeez. You can really tell the difference when you're screwing them into oak. The pine ones just slid in proper easy. This, not so much. Might have to go a little bit bigger on the holes, but it's a bit late now. On this one, the rest I can widen a bit. make sure that you get these flush. Otherwise, your base won't sit properly. I think I'm slightly off flush here. Just give it a bit more of a turn. I believe I'm there. That is really hot. Okay, I've put a lot of power into that. I'll do the rest. I'll probably widen up the hole a bit, just so I don't risk the splitting, but that's the basic process. And make sure to wipe the glue. Okay, with a bit of persuasion, I can now officially say all the threaded inserts are in. Now you may be thinking, why have you done it in this order? Now you're going to get finish inside of your inserts. But you're wrong. Because what I'm going to do is get 4 M8 bolts, put them in, and then I can finish this side, flip it over onto those bolts, which will then allow me to finish the other side and do everything in one go. So I did actually think about it, and I definitely didn't just make up a solution on the spot. But yeah, I don't know if you can hear this, but they're airtight. They make a really cool noise. So yeah, that is the next step, finishing. But I'm going to leave it till tomorrow because, you know, I don't want it to get cold overnight, even though it's like 3 billion degrees, and not finish right. I don't know. I've never used the finish. I don't want anything to go wrong. Also, if you're still even watching at this point, you might as well subscribe, you know. You've already committed too much of your life to watching this video. I mean, you might as well. Come on. But I'll be back to do the finish. Okay. So what I've got here is a pot of Osmo Poly-X. That's my chosen finish. Never used it before, but let's get it closer to the camera without spilling it all. That's the one I've gone with. So I'm just going to start off by just giving it a little bit of a stir, making sure that it's nicely mixed up. I'm using this bit of, I guess it's a cleaning pad, because I didn't bother to buy the really posh, overpriced ones. I think it'll work the same, so. Now this, you want to put on nice thin coats. I think that's nicely mixed. All right, nice thin coats. Let's actually flick that on there so it's not wasted. But yeah, let's start. Let's put I guess a little bit like that. I'm not sure how much really to put on. But let's see how that goes. Guess I'm going to need a little bit more than that. Right, I'm hoping this can's enough. Dripping everywhere. Wipe that off. Stick that back over there. Stick the lid on. This is the underside at the moment, so I figured do the underside first so I can see how it works and everything. And it's not too bad. It's fairly easy to work with, so you just rub it on with a nice pad. It's got a bit of a stink to it, but it didn't say anything about me needing to wear a mask, so I'm just using the sun to find where my extra bits of finish are. Our bow tie does look nice, but it is being covered, so what a shame for that bow tie. Let's get a little bit more. Let's just get it off the lid. Just to get this underside done. Need a little bit more on this side. Trying not to use up too much, because I have got to do 2 coats of this on both sides, so I don't want any to go to waste, because I only bought a sample sized pot thinking that I bought a regular sized pot. Okay, that's all nicely applied. Now we'll just follow the grain. It's a little bit there, I think. Just make sure I get every last bit with a nice coat. It's really nice. It's the first time I've actually worked with a nice finish. Like a decently expensive finish. You know what I mean? I think you do get what you pay for, because it's looking nice. Looks a bit shiny on camera actually. But once I've kind of let that sit for a few minutes, I'm going to wipe it off with a cloth and then flip it over to the next side. So yeah, I'll be back to wipe it. Okay, it's sat for a little bit. So now I'm going to use everyone's favourite appliance, Blue Roll. And I'm just going to wipe off the excess. Making sure to follow the grain. And get in underneath those bolts. If anyone's wondering what type of finish this is, like what Polyx, Osmo Polyx, yeah. It's hard wax oil, so it should be nice and durable, but it's also really easy to apply. And as you can see, it doesn't leave a any shininess really. It's a matte finish, or at least the one I chose was. So yeah, it's got a 10-hour drying time, so that's why I put these bolts in, because it will allow me to flip it over and do the other side without having to wait the 10 hours. So then you're going to wait 10 hours, then I can do it all again, 10 hours. Where did I just chuck that? I can see a little extra bit around here. And then any other bits? Once again, just using the light. You can't see any extra bits. So yeah, I'll flip it over and we'll do the other side, the actual top. So hopefully the top looks good. Okay, it is cutting time. I've already cut a few. I've cut the long ones, 58 centimeters. And And now we're going to cut the second longest ones, 34. These will be for the height of the coffee table. So I'm just going on there with a bit of permanent marker. Make it easy to read. And yeah, this machine makes it really easy. Simply just mark it, line it up with the blade. I've got the other end of the bar on the forklift. Just line it up. We're a bit unlevel there. Pull that way. All right. And just line it up. Happy there. And there, we're done. Just switch it on. And let it cut away. So I can just sit in the shed, in the shade, and just wait for that to cut. Because the good thing is, I can hear the difference in the sound. So at the moment it's quite loud and rickety. When it goes silent, it means it's almost through. There, I can hear it. So I'm going to walk over. There we have it. Nice bar of metal, cut to the perfect size. My mic's about to run out of battery, so I'm going to do the rest off camera, but you get the gist of it. It's just measure, cut, measure, cut. All right then. It's now time to put these bolts in and get this table done once and for all. Let's get the key. That's the wrong key. It should have the Allen key somewhere. There we go. There's the Allen key. So all we're going to do here is make sure that this is square. Just crank them down. Very nice. Boom. That's one on. Move over to the next. Right, here's the next one. So we'll chuck our bolts in this. Oh, come on, go in. There we go. Get them down. Make sure that it's square. Yeah, happy with that. Get these tightened. Boom. Second one. Boom. That's them on. Now it's time to start building it up. And there we go. That's it flipped. And it's done. I'm happy with it. It came out well. yeah. Obviously there's a few adjustments with the bass still to go, but I'm fairly happy with that. Boom. Let's shoot some B-roll. Yeah. Because